This is interesting to me. I wrote yesterday about some comments from Patrick Mahomes' mother, Randy Mahomes, and also this new Coors Light commercial where, because they can't have commercials with NFL players selling beer while they're active members of the league, the latest Coors Light commercial goes into a time capsule until Patrick Mahomes retired. And between that commercial and his mother, Randy, saying on a podcast that Patrick has said he might not play as long as Tom Brady, his family is going to be a factor, he wants to be around for his kids. When you consider that Patrick Mahomes turns 29 on September 17, 1995, or no, he was born September 17 of 1995. He turns 29 September 17 of 2024. Get your facts straight. He's getting closer and closer to the point where somebody's going to ask him, how much longer are you going to play? Tom Brady was getting those questions in his early 30s. Brett Favre started talking about retirement at 31 or 32. And it's fair to point out they're having fun with it in this Coors Light commercial. His mother is talking about the possibility he won't play until he's 45. He's going to be 29 in a couple of months. Someone's going to ask him at some point, how long are you going to play? And boy, Chiefs fans get triggered. I said this yesterday, but I've got a specific example I want to share with you. Folks, I love the guy. I want him to play forever. He's great for the league. He's the most valuable property the NFL currently has. He's a great guy. He's a great player. He's fun to watch. But as I said yesterday, he's not going to play pro football for the next 50 years. At some point, he's not going to be the quarterback of the Chiefs. And God forbid you point out that fact to Chiefs fans that have their sights set on winning, 20 Super Bowls in a row. So anyway, I'm mentioning it again today because my buddy Nick Wright, and you usually hear people say, I knew so-and-so when he had hair. I knew Nick Wright when he didn't have hair. That's how long I've known Nick Wright. And Nick Wright's called me out a couple of times on his FS1 show recently. And my general frontline frustration is, dude, you know how to find me. If you got any questions or concerns about anything I've said, if you need clarity, if you don't understand it, you can reach out to me. We can have a conversation. We can talk it through. I'm not being unreasonable with these things. I'm not trying to be a hater. I love the Chiefs. I love Patrick Mahomes. I want the Chiefs to do well. I think it's exciting because they don't blow people out. They make every win, especially in the postseason, a must-see event. So there was an item in the Kansas City Star somebody sent to me, and it's based on not any initial or original analysis from the person who wrote it. It's just, and here's the headline: Nick Wright crushes NBC reporter for story on Patrick Mahomes' future. I got more to say about the Kansas City Star, and I'll say that in a little bit. For now, I want to focus on my friend, Nick Wright. And he refers to me on his show as my pal. If you're my pal, seek me out. Let's have a conversation about this. Let's talk this through. Because, I hold the people in the media to a higher standard. I understand why the fans gloss over what I was saying because they just view it as, oh, you can't wait for Patrick Mahomes to retire. You don't like the Chiefs. You don't like Mahomes, which is bullshit. So I expect that from the fans. I don't expect it from somebody who really should know better. And I'm looking at some of the stuff that Nick Wright said, and I'm not gonna read it all. The point is this: he knows what I'm trying to say here. Sooner rather than later, Patrick Mahomes is going to be asked questions about how much longer he's going to play. That's normal. That's natural. He hasn't been asked it yet. Between what his mother said and this tongue-in-cheek Coors Light commercial, and he's creeping closer to 30, he's going to be asked the question. That's my only point. The question is coming. It's coming. 40, 45, 50? How long? Hey, all it takes is one person at a press conference. Hey, Patrick, how long are you going to play? Your mother said you may not play as long as Tom Brady. How long are you going to play? It's a fair question. These guys are available to the media all the time. That's my only point. So it's disappointing to have it kind of twisted into something that it wasn't. And Here's one of the things he said. I'm scrolling through here and looking at this. Wright believes media members like Florio are searching for ways to critique the Chiefs after being burned by writing them off when they struggled at times in the regular season. Dude, I picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl before the season started. I picked the Chiefs to win almost every week of the 2024 regular season. Look it up. I picked the Chiefs almost every week. Sims picked the 49ers almost every week. I picked the Chiefs almost every week. And I know in the playoffs, Miami, pick the Chiefs. At Buffalo, underdogs, pick the Chiefs. At Baltimore, underdogs, pick the Chiefs. Super Bowl, underdogs, picked the Chiefs. I go back to the last Super Bowl, underdogs to the Eagles. And my take was, Eagles are the better team, but they don't have Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs win. Oh, and if you've forgotten, they did. So you may not like what I said, but we're just going to paint you with a broad brush of being a hater because we don't want to meet you on the merits. We don't want to acknowledge your argument. You're interrupting our fandom. I mean, Wright's clearly a Chiefs fan. He was at their parade. He waves the Chiefs pom-poms whenever he can. And I think he also had Lamar Jackson not in the top 5 quarterbacks, but Caleb Williams, a guy who's never even played in the NFL, is already a top 5 guy. So, and that's fine. That's fine. That's his prerogative. But it's just disappointing to see someone who should know better come at me without really even trying to understand, or even worse, understanding but ignoring what my point was. Because, hey, it was a slow day. So you're welcome, first of all, Nick, that I gave you some content to help you get through your show on a slow Thursday. But you know better. You know what my point was. And my point about the Kansas City Star, which has its content behind a paywall, they'll give you a little taste, and then eventually you run out of free articles and you got to pay for it. I don't know how this business model works, but let me tell you something. I can't imagine anybody paying for these articles from a guy named Pete Gradhoff, who basically puts together 10 paragraphs of word salad with no original thought, and then just starts pasting tweets in. I mean, you're paying for that? Hey, anybody that's subscribing to the Kansas City Star is a sucker if that's what you're paying for. I mean, I'm paying for quality if I'm going to pay for anything. There's too much free content out there to put up articles that you can see on The Spun or whatever other clickbait website there is out there that doesn't charge you to read it. If you're going to charge me to read it, you got to come up with something better than pasting in 20 different tweets and a 10-paragraph story that adds nothing to the conversation. Just takes my quotes and Nick's quotes and puts on a headline. Let me get the headline right because I enjoyed it too much to not get it wrong. Nick Wright crushes NBC reporter for story on Patrick Mahomes' future. And here's the other thing, too. These people that are going to cover the media, and I've made this point from time to time, I'm easy to find. You want to get a quote from me? Wouldn't it make for a better story? Don't you advance the ball, Pete Gradhoff, if you get a quote from me to add to your story? And there's an element of laziness to today's media where there's no effort to try to advance the ball, either with an original thought or a quote that isn't already out there for anyone to see. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I said more about that than I wanted to, but that's all I have to say about that. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.